Gonna be honest with you, this is something for which I am really, really negative on AOC about, you know? The reason why Dem voters don't seem to understand that people like Kamala Harris and Schumer are responsible for Trump's victory, the reason they're so bad, the reason we're in this mess to begin with, is because for some reason, AOC and Bernie Sanders, who isn't here because he's not a Democrat, won't shit talk them. I don't understand why. Like it's crazy to me. It's not enough to talk bad about Republicans. Democrats already know Republicans are bad. It's not exactly like a, ambiguous coin toss issue among people who vote for Democrats. It's pretty well known. I really, really wish that she would spend more time doing this. Because if you are contributing to a culture of acceptance of Kamala Harris, I think that you're complicit to a large extent for this in this administration, you know? I think you need to be aggressive there. It's not enough to be anti-Republican. Wow, how novel. Schumer is anti-Republican, you know? Yeah, the fact that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are so net favorable is just not acceptable. And it really does make me feel like the Democrats are going to make this mistake again in 2028. You know, it's going to be Gavin Newsom versus Kamala Harris in 2028 or some awful shit like that. They're not going to learn any lessons. With hindsight, who would have been your preferred pick over Kamala? Mine would have been Mark Kelly. I don't know. I feel like they were all pretty much primed to make the same mistakes. Do you believe Dem normie voters not being motivated by anger, unlike Republicans, is bad? People should be motivated by anger, especially Democrats. Right now, Republicans have nothing to be angry about. All their guys are in power, and they're getting everything they want. They're only angry because they don't know any other emotions. Democrats should be angry right now. Did you hear about Democrat voter registration hemorrhaging in pretty much every state? Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? What are the Democrats offering people right now? And still, within the Democratic Party, there is no pushback against the leadership. None. After Schumer's traitor vote on the stopgap budget bill, 6 months ago, there were some murmurings about, him not being accepted or people disliking him. What came of that? Nothing. Everyone stayed quiet. Nobody cared. David Hogg, he was gonna try to unseat unpopular Democrats and get people with some fire in their belly up there and work for the people. And what did they do? They kicked his ass out. They're still pushing Jeffries. Schumer still won't endorse Mamdani, even as his cousin Amy Schumer endorses Cuomo. It's sickening, really. It's giving Labor dead party. Really, though, it is. It is. I mean, there might be some do-gooders within the party, but they're basically independents, right? Like, let's be real here, okay? Mamdani might be running as a Democrat, but spiritually he's an independent. We know that. Vote blue no matter who, sure, but like this guy had to pry himself away from the entire Democratic establishment. Cuomo was the Democrat pick, and a lot of Democrats still won't endorse Mamdani, even as it's clear he's going to win. They want to hitch themselves to the losing ticket because they're that obstinate about being, Israel's greatest soldier, right? Plattner likewise. And yet Dems have started stealing his messages? Yeah, because, they don't believe in anything. They just want to cynically hawk whatever, like, messaging style or strategy they can off of the successful people. They don't want to change in any way, shape, or form. The Republicans did. People should use Mamdani's approach as a template. I 100%, I think that's a very good thing to do. It's just, Jesus, man. They're just trying to salvage. Like Newsom copying Trump's tweeting style? Yeah. We had the White House econ advisor saying the shutdown would end this week. I don't buy it, should I? How the should I say whether or not you should buy it? I don't know. It's the White House. They say anything and everything. Who the knows? Honestly, Vosh, I think the No Kings protests are a perfect example. What did the protests demand of the Democrats? Was it anything but old man yells at cloud? Look, I don't expect the No Kings protest to be like anti-Democrat, anti-both sides or whatever, but it's still like, it's a messaging issue, okay? If you want to be like a independent leaning Democrat who's going to unseat somebody, make a big stir like Plattner or Mamdani or whatever, you have to bend the knee so hard to the Democratic establishment. Mamdani hasn't bent the knee in the sense that he's compromised, but like Mamdani could pretty rightfully spend 30 minutes of like primetime news coverage just tearing down the Democratic leadership, and he would be morally justified in doing so. He doesn't because it's effective for him not to. He understands what he's working to prioritize right now. But like, everything has to take place under the shadow of the most powerful, least effective people in the entire Democratic Party. It's insane. And it's not changing as long as nothing is done about the widespread perception among Democrats that these people are good for the party in some way. These right here are failures of messaging. And I do, to a large extent, hold AOC accountable for this, because AOC was successful in being the bridge, the person who is on the left but is still popular with liberal Democrats. And she's not doing anything with it, not at least in terms of moving the party left. Like, this is the position that she's supposed to hold. That was the whole point of you getting in with the norm. You can't get in with the normies and then just stay there having not used that position to agitate in some way. I don't understand why she's so quiet. And a lot of it is just representative of the average voter not knowing anything. Why, for example, would a person disapprove of Chuck Schumer, who's only +8 favorable, but then approve of Harris or Biden? Can't you see these are all the same people? They're all the same people. They represent Democratic leadership. There's no daylight between them, no internal division, you know? I mean, that polls only from specific congressional districts. Yeah, for in Illinois, Pennsylvania, Minnesota. But it's close enough to what the general... I mean, we've seen the general polling. Schumer being as popular as AIPAC is crazy. No, you're misreading. It's AIPAC is majority unfavorable. See? 40 unfavorable, 16 favorable. Chuck Schumer's 40 favorable, 32. So AIPAC is very, very deep in the water. But like, again, it's all incoherent, because Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and Chuck Schumer would all die for Israel. So why are they so much more popular than Israel, AIPAC, and the pro-Israel lobby? Like, they're the reason we're in this position. Joe Biden was agreeing with Republicans on how the peaceful campus, college encampments, the ones protesting the genocide of the Palestinians, he was fueling the flames. He was arguing that they were beds of anti-Semitism. Look, I'm happy that she's promoting Mamdani and so on and so forth. I think that's lovely, but I don't understand why she doesn't talk about the damn Democrats. Senate run maybe, but if she ran for Senate, she'd be running against Schumer. AOC refuses to rule out Schumer primary challenge. Does AOC, forgive me for bringing this up, does AOC even talk about Israel?
Chuck Schumer, I guess the Senate Democratic leader, your senator, said at this meeting that he is going to vote for cloture. He is going to vote to allow there to be a simple majority vote. You think that's wrong?
I believe that's a tremendous mistake. Yes.
Why?
I think, well, first and
This is all the way back. This is all the way back. This is back for the stopgap bill that Schumer betrayed the entire party on.
foremost, the American people, if anyone has held a town hall or has seen what has been happening in town halls, American people, whether they are Republicans, independents, Democrats, are up in arms about Elon Musk and the actual gutting of federal agencies.
You can tell it's old because nobody talks about Elon anymore. Here you go. Okay.
So, Caitlin, when you talk about, are we overjoyed that
Oh yeah, the town hall. I didn't see this.
hostages are back, the prisoners are released, that finally there is peace, hopefully it lasts? Yes, absolutely. But I think this is not a time for credit. This is a time to think about American policy. Are we happy that we have given tens of billions of dollars to destroy the Palestinian people? Israel had a right to defend itself. They were attacked by a terrorist group. They did not have a right to go to an all-out war against women and children in Gaza.
And moreover, on this issue as well, is that we may have an announcement around a ceasefire, but Gaza has been flattened. Tens of thousands of people are dead. Universities gone. Hospitals eliminated. With American-made bombs. With our tax dollars. While you and me and our families can't even afford to put food on the table.
So I'm more looking for her like saying this in a way that criticizes the Democrats.
And so I welcome the cessation of these bombs dropping in Gaza.
common Bernie L in this issue. I agree. You can tell he's not even wearing over-the-calf socks, which you should do with dress shoes.
But I don't, the devastation of everything that we have endured up until this point is not something that I think we should celebrate. The United States played a role in all of this destruction to begin with by enabling Benjamin Netanyahu in dropping all of these bombs, by refusing to enforce our own American laws and the Leahy laws on the books, which says that we cannot be transferring weapons to forces that are engaged in gross human rights violations. Right. And we look the other way because we deem them an ally.
And you're saying that's not something that you're, a criticism that you're just applying to President Trump in terms of support. You're
President Biden did it. President Biden did it, and I have absolutely.
It's just not enough. I mean, it's just nowhere near. I'm looking for anything here, man. AOC asked directly if she plans to primary Chuck Schumer. Are you saying Senator Schumer should not be worried about a primary challenge from you? I know, because I don't think this is about anything. This is what we're talking about. Sanders jumped in saying the country's falling apart, and that is what the media wants to talk about. Nobody cares. Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez responded. Really? Nobody cares whether you're primarying the guy who's responsible in large part for the Democrats being as weak as they are? I care. I don't know. It's such a disappointment to me. Sorry, it's kind of cucked. Yeah, unfortunately, like, I know there's a lot of, man, you just give no credit ever. That's not true, and you know it's not. Don't lie. If you're upset with me not giving credit in this instance, you don't need to pretend that it's like a broader pattern. Unfortunately, like, AOC does get a lot of bad faith criticism, so people will lump you in with it if you do criticize her. And there's also a lot of liberals who watch me who kind of delude themselves into thinking that because they can tolerate AOC, they're on the same like ticket as me. So when I criticize AOC, they're like, oh, the leftist is going too far. He's burning the bridge or whatever. But it's like, this is like a bare minimum, man. The Democratic Party is being driven into the ground. It has never been this unpopular in all of the party's history. For as long as polling goes back, it's never been this unpopular, woefully ineffective, doing nothing, can do nothing, everyone's weak. It's disgusting, it's pathetic, it's incomparable to any other point in the party's history or any party's history in modern America. And it is because of certain people and certain influences. And the whole point of AOC getting popular was that she could operate as a bridge and she could try to move more people over to her side, but instead she's moved more over to theirs, you know? It all began with the Iron Dome shit, man. She only attacks Dems when it's safe to do so. Yeah, no, she only, like, the barest minimum. How it is so safe to attack Dems right now. Nobody likes them anyway. We're not in an election year. It's 2025. We're a year out from midterms and 3 years from the presidential. Now is the perfect time to start attacking people. And yeah, and her seat's locked in. She has no chance whatsoever of losing her seat. And she would win if she ran for the Senate as well. She could move millions of people over to a more effective position, but unfortunately, the defense would probably be alike too, but we need unity against Trump. I don't know, man. Yeah, that shit has always been used to browbeat leftists who want to improve the party. Nobody says that shit about Mamdani, you know? Schumer, the leader of the Democrats, still won't endorse Mamdani against an independent challenge from Cuomo, the person that he initially implicitly supported, because he's so unconcerned about forming a unified front against Trump that he will essentially implicitly back corrupt, philandering, sex pest, pieces of shit like Cuomo, who have been working with Trump to try to win the election, over Mamdani, somebody he knows would be opposed to Trump. It's not about unifying against Trump. It's about shutting the f up and not challenging them. We're consigning an entire country to defeat here because we're unwilling to challenge the careers of a bunch of 85-year-old pedophiles. It's ridiculous. These people, I mean, they're on their way out anyway in every possible sense, and we're so desperate to avoid challenging them that we're willing to sell the country out to do it. It's insane. Should I have watched that CNN town hall? Would my life have been better if I had watched it? Was there anything here even remotely? God, listening to Bernie and AOC lately, I feel like I'm just listening to two, you know, mainstream Democrats. It's not like anyone's out here talking about Medicare for all anymore, you know? It's
that, I mean, that requires Mike Johnson saying what he's willing to do, and
is an unprecedented moment in American history.
We must be clear about what we believe, have strong beliefs, and also be completely unwilling to bow to that kind of division and stand in solidarity with one another, especially when it is someone who
It does feel like she started to talk more like a politician. It might just be me feeling more cynical right now, in fairness. I might just be feeling a little bit more cynical.
whose culture is different from ours or whose background we may not entirely understand, but that we honor, love, and see as our fellow Americans.
Representative Ocasio-Cortez, Senator Sanders, we have a lot more questions for both of you coming up. We're going to take a short break and be right back with our CNN Town Hall.
To work, then we're going to continue to be in this cycle. So, you know, in the Senate, the Senate Majority Leader is John Thune. He should be negotiating with Chuck Schumer. President Trump should be having congressional leaders in the White House. Do you?
I guess like the premise of the conversation or of the discussion seems weird anyway. Like I guess just from the beginning, you know, like why talk to them about the Republicans' government shutdown? Is that really like the topic? I don't know. Like the government shut down, but it's every time I talk about AOC, by the way, I get emails from people who are mad at me for criticizing AOC. I got one from like 2 weeks ago that I haven't responded to. I'm probably not going to respond to it, but it was like, you know, I thought you were one of the good lefties, but I can't believe you criticized AOC for X or for Y. And it's like, you know, again, it's like that the bridge or like the line of respectability, you know, like lefties are okay as long as they take the form of AOC, a person who never does or says anything lefty anymore.